1-2. The night wind howled over the lonely plains of New Mexico, bending the tall grass beneath a cold silver moon. A storm had passed, but the air still trembled with its memory. That's when Eli Turner, a quiet, broad-shouldered rancher barely 22, saw movement near his barn. He lifted his lantern and froze. Standing there tall as a man and wrapped in a wolfskin cloak was a woman. Her dark eyes gleamed like polished onyx, and her braid, thick as rope, fell past her waist. She was Noya, sister of the Apache war leader. Taza, a woman both feared and respected across the frontier. Eli had heard whispers of her, the giant Apache. A sister, they called her, strong, enough to wrestle a stallion, proud enough to challenge any man. But what the stories never mentioned was the sorrow behind her eyes. When she spoke, her voice carried like a drumbeat through the cool air. I need shelter. The mountains are no friend to a lone woman tonight. Eli hesitated only a moment before opening the barn doors wider. You can stay here. The horses are gentle. That night, as rain whispered against the roof, Noya sat by the lantern's light, her shadow stretching across the barn wall. Eli tried not to stare, but he'd never seen a woman like her. Proud, scarred, yet strangely calm. She noticed his awkward silence and smiled faintly. You are afraid of me, aren't you? He stammered. No, ma'am, just not used to company. Her laughter was soft, weary. Then we are the same. I haven't had warmth, real warmth, in 6 months. Not since my brother went north with our people. The nights have been colder than stone. The way she said it wasn't about comfort or touch. It was about loneliness, the kind that lives deep in the bones. Eli understood that kind of silence. He'd been alone on that ranch since his father died. He'd learned to mend fences, birth calves, and talk to the wind, but not to people, especially not women. Over the next few days she stayed. She helped mend his corral, fix the roof where wind had torn the shingles, and taught him how to read the signs of a storm before it came. She moved like she belonged there, and he began to feel something new, a quiet strength growing inside him whenever she was near. One evening they sat by the fire. The air smelled of cedar and horses. Noya's voice broke the silence. Why do you live alone, young rancher? You have kind eyes but no tribe. He looked down, embarrassed. I guess I never found someone who'd want to share my life. Folks say I'm too quiet, too shy, maybe too different. Noya leaned closer. The firelight shimmered on her cheekbones. Different is not a curse. It is the beginning of a story no one else can tell. Her words settled into him like a seed finding soil. For the first time, Eli didn't feel small. He felt seen. But peace in the Wild West never lasts. 2 days later, a posse rode up, bounty hunters looking for an Apache fugitive. There, two leader, a cruel man named Barton Clay, spotted Noya near the stable. That's her, the Apache witch. Eli stepped in front of her without thinking. She's no witch. She's my guest. Barton sneered. You hiding redskins now, boy? That's treason. Eli's hands shook, but he held his ground. You'll have to go through me first. The standoff ended in chaos. A shot cracked. Horses screamed. When the dust settled, Barton was on the ground, his gun arm broken, his pride shattered. Noya hadn't moved to kill him. She'd simply disarmed him faster than any man he'd ever seen. When the posse rode off, humiliated, Eli turned to her. His heart pounded with both fear and awe. You saved my life. She looked at him, her face soft now, all the wild edges gone. No, you saved mine. No man has ever stood between me and a bullet before. That night, the two sat under a blanket of stars. The prairie stretched endlessly around them, silver and quiet. Noya spoke first, her voice barely above a whisper. 6 months I've walked this land without a soul beside me. I forgot what it felt like to be trusted. Eli smiled faintly. And I forgot what it felt like to have someone to talk to. They didn't need to say more. The bond between them wasn't made of words or fire. It was made of something quieter. Pure. Two lonely hearts, finding in each other a reflection of their own strength. When morning came, Noya prepared to leave. The horizon called her back to her people. Eli stood there holding her saddle. Will I see you again? He asked. She reached out, her large, strong hand brushing his cheek. If the wind carries your name to the mountains, I will follow it." And with that she rode away, her braid whipping like a banner behind her. Months later, when spring returned, Eli would sometimes look to the hills and think he saw her silhouette against the dawn. Whether it was memory or miracle, he never knew. But one thing stayed with him, her final words. "Different is not a curse. It's the beginning of your story." And from that day forward, the quiet virgin rancher became known across the plains as the man who stood up for the Apache sister and found his courage doing it. My inspiring message. Love and strength are not always born from passion. Sometimes they're born from shared loneliness, from two souls teaching each other what it means to be seen, respected, and unafraid.